Islam is my sight. Now I found the light after those long dark nights. Now my world is bright. Islam is my sight. Now my world is bright. Islam is my
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to number 2 in a small series that we're doing on bad behavior of Muslims in Islamic society. I'm your host, Abdullah McIntosh. Welcome to the show and welcome to Dr. Mamdouh. Dr. Mamdouh is, of course, international education consultant, both here in the Middle East and, of course, in the US. Welcome to you once again. To the show. Welcome to my 2 guests as well, Shady, Abu Yusuf, an English trainer,
Yes.
and Junaid Dar, civil engineer and Arabic student, inshallah. Welcome to you. Shady, let's talk about, we discussed on the last program the lack of knowledge being a huge problem. And we discussed that, we were saying that Aqidah and having a firm knowledge of Aqidah is important to stay away from the kaba'ir, the big sins, like, for example, obviously shirk. Now, one of the also big sin, but perhaps not as big as shirk, but it's always creeping around the Muslim community, is the idea of bid'ah. What have you seen in your own experience here, and what's your analogy of the situation?
Well, I'll tell you a story about, I at the time of, I was reading about Iraq as a country. And you know that in Iraq you've got lots, of different sects. And I was reading about Yazidis. And Yazidis, they are known in Iraq as devil worshippers. This is how they are known. And so I was very interested in reading some of the stuff those people publish. Now, I got a book about that. It's called the Black Rash. This is how they call it. And I started reading it. It's published by a writer, American writer, who visited Iraq and started telling a story of those people, how they started. Well, actually, the strange thing that they were normal Muslims in the past. And then after that, one person started getting ideas out of the religion, okay? And people started to believe in these ideas, and they started to follow him, and they made him like a saint. That this is how they looked at the man. But when the man died, they loved him. So they started building stuff over his grave, and things like that. They started going to that grave to get blessings. Now, this is how the idea started, okay? And then the idea started, developing and evolving until they worshipped him, okay? And some other people were cursing him, so they started saying that we don't accept any cursing. And they started saying that this Satan was cursed in the Quran, so we don't accept that. Satan is good. And they started worshipping Satans. So it started with a very simple idea. A man who died, and they put some stuff, and they started asking for blessings, and finally they ended up, worshipping Satan. Some of those people who carry these beliefs, they are still in Egypt. I'm sorry for saying that. Because personally, and I know someone and who is living in a town that is very close to mine, and he claims that he knows the future. And people believe him. And I won't just, of course I'm going to take some comments from Dr. Mamdouh on that, but the short story goes like, a lady went to that man because she believed that he is, he is worthy, that she should ask him about everything. And she asked him, am I supposed to get married to this person? He said, no, he's not good for you. And then he directed her to get married to another person who paid money for, for him, of course.
But this isn't the first time I've heard this, because this is another story which I've heard in where I live as well, about a very similar situation. Shady,
don't look at me.
Well, Shady, can you say something here about your own experiences in living in Islamic or Muslim society?
Well, I guess that health is related to the financial situation in Islamic countries, in many Islamic countries, not all of them. Well, I believe, let's talk about Egypt. Like, people in Egypt, they work 24/7, all the time, working all the time in order to get money so that they can support their families. So actually sports have a very little time in their schedule, like to handle this. So, and this is why they start to gain more weight and they start to be unhealthy. It's due to this. If they have time, like if they work something like from 7 to 5 and they have the rest of the day to enjoy their lives, they will be healthy. So it needs a financial reform in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doctor, just before